Once again the world might fall prey to an ancient evil. Once again we're hurled into darkness and great upheaval. Those who can enlist, let's unite and we'll fight together. We must save the crystals or orbs or the moon, whatever. Come, let's fly. We'll sail where the wind may take us through that starry sky. 'Cause apparently back then they had ships that could do that. Draw your sword and stick it in trees that have human features. Journey toward the thicket and steal shit from woodland creatures. Though the villain shames us, we'll pwn all his dark abettors. Funny how our names all contain less than 7 letters. Shine your light, the forces of evil can't outlast a mage a knight. A weird little kid and a ninja master, key change move. Raise our levels high, cross the mountains and plains and oceans. Don't forget to buy several buttloads of tents and potions. Storm the villain's hideout and keep your courageous spirit. Scream a battle cry loud enough that the bitch can hear it. Finally, the hunter of souls shall be the hunted. Now they'll see we'll save humankind like we always wanted when we were little. Summer vacation, dancing in our jammies, 'cause we beat Final Fantasy.
Okay. Morning, Ulu. Let's head back to Limsa. I went and did the Final Fantasy XI quest on all of my alts, only to realize the armor's not dyeable, and I don't like it. Oh, I should also... No more problems! We cured tempering! That's game over! We're good, right? We've solved every like, the world's greatest problem, and now we're just gonna live happily ever after. I can't believe they canceled Endwalker. I know not of the city save what I've read or heard in passing, so in this matter, I'll follow your lead. The Admiral's right. The cause of the conflict needs to be addressed. We do what we can to ease the way, but ultimately falls to the Leminsians to make peace with their neighbors. By way of a first step, I suggest we split up and make inquiries around town. Some of us know this, Sicard. If you could approach the pirates, the rest of us would seek out the merchants and adventurers. Where am I going? What about Nihilistic Blonde? It's fine. He's probably not anything to worry about. You know? Oh, also, let me set an alarm. I gotta be at work at 8 this morning. So first off, turn off my 7 o'clock alarm, because I don't need it right now. Gotta be at work at 8 today, because I've got Magic the Gathering after work today. Here's about Sicard, are you? As am I, my friend, as am I. Sadly, I know nothing of the man, save for the bloody executioners experienced a marked improvement in their fortunes after his promotion. Quite how he achieved this is a matter of some debate. As you know, the thalassocracy permits us to attack only Garlean vessels, yet these have all but vanished from the sea since the Empire turned upon itself. In order to adapt, we Krakens have taken to trading with the East, but the executioners are less forward-looking. I cannot imagine they would willingly abandon the old ways. So, how, then, are they lining their coffers? Whatever their secret, they are not like to share it with their rivals, but mayhap you'll have more luck. Yeah, long-lost Sun Man! I'm curious, like... Would that mean that, like... So I am curious to see more about Limsa's, whatchamacallit. I am curious to see more about Limsa's government structure. I find it interesting, like, okay, it makes sense that they're like, you can be a pirate, but only attack Garlean ships. I'm curious if that would, like, cause any friction towards any potential peace settlements with Garlemald. I'm like, what do you mean we can't attack their ships anymore? Who are we supposed to rob if we're friends with the Garleans now? You want to know about Sicard? He's a wily bugger is what he is. Found some clever way to make coin, they say, and traded it for Mosencade's place at Hilfer's side. There was a time we raced executioners for our pick of the Empire's fleet, but the Garleans are gone, and them days with them. Owing to which we've all had to look for other ways to make ends meet, with that jumped-up bilge rat Sicard land and the juiciest whatever it may be. Now that we Sirens are struggling mine, we do well enough guard and fishing boats from the fishbacks and other beasties. Get the first pick of the produce for our troubles, see? Quality stuff at bargain price. This we pass to our sisters as can't sail on account of getting old or wounded with child. Or wounded or with child, not wounded with child. And they cook it up and sell for a profit. Simple. Miss the old ways, don't get me wrong, but when I see the girls with the little ones, think to myself, a life of peace and quiet ain't all bad. Where am I going? Walking through a city, one would never suspect this was until recently a bastion of piracy. The Admiral is to be commended for overseeing so swift a transformation. As I went about making my inquiries, I chanced upon a shop that boasted a rather enticing selection of sweetmeats. Perhaps we could take Gabu and Graha there one day. I see everyone's return. Who would like to go first? Just as the Imperial prey began to disappear, Sicard turned the executioner's fortunes around with a mysterious new source of income. Whatever it is, it's nothing to scoff at. According to the tavern keeper I spoke to, the crew have been indulging themselves as never before, but no amount of drink seems to loosen their tongues as to how they're coming by their coin. For my part, I spoke with a reporter for the Harbor Herald. The publication has been investigating the secrets of the executioner's good fortune, making little headway. Plainly, the executioners do not wish the nature of their business to be made public. And I think I may know why. In the course of making inquiries on Hawker's Alley, an interesting fact came to light. Just as the executioners began to enjoy better fortunes, the price of crystal went in a sharp decline. A sudden fall in demand, I was told. Curious, I contacted Hoary Boulder, who has been watching the movements of beast tribes, and my suspicions were proven correct. Despite ever-worsening relations between the beast tribes and the Thalassocracy, neither Titan nor Leviathan have made an appearance of late, suggesting the kobolds in Sahagan lack the means with which to summon them. Do you mean to say the executioners are divesting them of their crystals? All indicators point to that conclusion, yes. Though we had no hard evidence of yet, we must investigate further. Agreed. How do we proceed? I have an idea about that. In fact, I've already taken the liberty of making certain provisions. If Alphanon's theory proves well-founded, it would go some way in explaining the executioner's vehement opposing to peace. Do you remember how Alphino pretended to be some manner of merchant to infiltrate Yulmore? Well, I bet you 10 gil he's about to reprise the role. During my inquiries, a disgruntled merchant informed me that a wholesaler of crystals had recently arrived in Limsa Laminza, offering wares at prices far undercutting the competition. After asking around, I was able to gain an introduction and shortly posed as a potential buyer in a bid to establish the crystal's provenance. This man is due at the Oslan's Embrace in Lower Lenosha shortly. I suggest we make our way there I suggest we make our way there at once. Words. I put an L in there. It's Oshan's Embrace. There's no L. It appears to be our merchant. Wish me luck. Wait, if he truly is in league with the bloody executioners, he will surely be wary of those allied with the Admiral. Scions, not least of all. Compared to yours and Missing's, mine is an unfamiliar face. Let me play the role of the buyer. Graha's right, and even if you aren't recognized on sight, you look too genteel to be mixing with society's underbelly. Genteel? Very well, I'll leave it to you, Graha. Got business with me, Catboy? You're the crystal wholesaler? That I am, but you're no merchant, so what do you want these crystals for? Don't look at us, you idiot! You'll give yourself away! I see. You're a weaponsmith, am I right? You need crystals to make stabs like that fine specimen you got there. That's right, I'm indeed a weaponsmith, and I use naught but the finest materials. I bid you show me your wares. Oh, I don't invite just anybody to our storehouses. It takes time to establish trust, you understand. Look, I have a large and urgent commission. If the quantity is quality satisfactory, I will not quabble over the price. Alright, explains you're no ordinary crystal, that's no ordinary crystal adorning your staff, so I'll make an exception. Come with me. Seems to be working. Let's follow them. Given how long he spent playing the Crystal Exarch, you'd think Graha would be a better actor. Honestly, if it hadn't been for the staff, we must remember to thank Tataru. Why are you on Diabolos? I didn't transfer, it's still a visiting. It's just because Alan and Jen are on the server and I haven't bothered swapping back to my home server. Both my alts are on Diabolos too. Go into that tunnel quietly now. You won't find any finer, especially not for the price. Indeed, I would expect to pay more than double for such quality. How could they possibly be so cheap? There's nothing unlawful about them, if that's your worry. They're from Ogomoro, if you take my meaning. Stuff as pure as it gets, you won't be disappointed. So how much do you want? Give me that meth. Yep. Ogomoro. Taken from the kobolds, just as we suspected. That's enough. Shut your gobs and turn around. Slowly. I'm Sicard, and acting captain of the Bloody Executioners. No need to introduce yourselves. We know who you are, scions. Cool, then you know I've, like, killed 5 gods. Maybe, like, treat me with some more respect, and also a little bit of fear. I also know you've been chatting to the Admiral. Got eyes and ears everywhere, see? Comes with being the only true pirate crew left in Limsa. So we've established you ain't here to buy crystals. The question is, what are you here for? You're bold to reveal yourself to us without knowing our objective, but that would explain your swift rise to power. You've spoken in plain, so I'll return the favor. We came here to learn why the Bloody Executioners oppose the Admiral's will. And we have our answer. Should Limsa Limsa make peace with the kobolds, you'd lose your source of newfound wealth. That's right. Just to remind you, though, we ain't breaking any rules here. The law forbids us from attacking any vessel not flying the Imperial flag, but it doesn't say nothing about beastmen. Only reason we keep our operation nice and quiet is because we don't want no one taking our business. Just listen to the end, will you? For what it's worth, I have the highest respect for you and yours. Him, especially. While the Maelstrom were worrying about dirt in their fancy red cobbler, you lot stormed a Gomero and battered Bleeding Titan himself raised a mug to you when I heard the news. And now we're following your footsteps, making sure the beastmen never summon their stinking gods again. Practically your successors, we are. When there were still Imperial ships about, we did our best for Limsa, and we went after them, but with the Garleans gone, there's no one left to ply our trade on except for the Beastmen, so let's have at it, eh? It's only fair. Contentious though you may find your views, it's true that you've broken no laws. That being so, I see no reason why you should not state your case directly to the Admiral's face, unless the acting captain of the only true pirate crew left in Limsa Lominsa has some other cause to hide in a cave. Also, there's a good quote. I forget what the quote is from, but I don't even know if it's necessarily I forget who said it, but they pointed out that like laws are meant to define the absolute minimum of acceptable behavior. Like, if you're obeying all the laws, that is the minimum society expects of you. It does not mean that you're a good person. Well said indeed. Alright, I'll meet with the Admiral. I'll even provide the venue. Astalisa. I trust you won't turn down the invitation. Astalisa? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Though I have some passing knowledge of prior events, I'm still ill-qualified to meddle in Lominsian affairs. 'Twas not my place to argue with Sicard, much as I would have liked to. Nay, it's for the Admiral to deal with him and the bloody executioners both. By bringing them to the negotiating table, we played our part. I don't know about you, but it was all I could do to stop myself from punching Sicard in the smirking face whenever he opened his mouth. Alice, I think it's all you can ever do to stop yourself from punching anybody, ever. I thought myself the hunter, but it turns out I was the prey. A timely reminder of the pirate powers of Limsa Lominsa are not to be trifled with. But all's well that ends well. Gratia's timely provocation has had its desired effect, and Sicard have agreed to a meeting. Let's hurry back to Limsa Lominsa and pass on this information to the Admiral. Well, I've no assurance that Sicard will be amenable to reason. There can be no compromise without discussion. Sicard does not want for confidence, that much is plain, but I have faith in the Admiral. She's dealt with far worse. The Astalisa is the very last place for such a meeting. The Admiral will be marching right into Coral's den. I hope we won't end up regretting this. There you are. We've eagerly awaited your return. Welcome back, my friends. What news? So they've been stealing crystals from the kobolds. My thanks for solving the mystery and securing a meeting besides. Suffice to say, I accept Sicard's invitation, and I would have you join me as my guests. The future of Limsa hangs upon the outcome of this meeting, and I would have the silence present to bear witness.
Look who's come crawling! Traitor!
You can shove your peace!
Welcome aboard, Admiral. I'll wager you don't remember me. Sicard, acting captain of the bloody executioners, at your service.
'Twas kind of you to invite us. Now, if Captain Hillfear has a message for me, I bid you speak it.
We have just the one demand. That you forget this bilge about making peace with the beastmen. Ours is a nation of pirates. Always has been, always will be. Deny us our right to plunder, and you deny who we are.
Too bloody right!
Pirates till we die!
What we want, we take!
Piracy has no place in our future.
Damn, she just straight up said it.
What'd she say?
Pirates have no place.
Our nation has prospered through piracy, 'tis true. Yet it is but one part of our long and storied history. Centuries ago, our ancestors led a failed rebellion and were driven from their homes with little more than the shirts on their backs. In fear of their lives, they sailed south until they came to these shores. Finding the land occupied by kobolds, however, they were forced to turn to piracy in order to survive. And survive they did. But not so long ago, when the Empire threatened to crush everything we'd built, we set aside piracy and joined hands with our neighbors. This too was in order to survive. And survive we did. Time after time we fought the Empire, and time after time we won. And through trade with our newfound allies, we prospered more than we ever did through pillaging and plundering. The Empire teeters on the brink of collapse. Ere long, provinces like Wurlit and Bosnia and many others will regain their freedom. When they do, our matchless fleet will lead the world in a new golden age of commerce. The tides favor us, and the ocean beckons with her vast bounty. But if we cling to the old ways, this great ship we call Limsa will trade the boundless seas for a lagoon. Shall we scorn the world's wealth for a plundered pittance then? Or shall we embrace change and thrive, like our ancestors before us? The choice is yours. But if we are to prosper in the coming age, the whole of Vilbrand must become our ship, and a kobold and Sahagin our crewmates.
Rousing words. Might even be some truth in them. But pirating's all we've ever known. And we ain't about to give it up just 'cause you say so. Still, we're all Mincins here and no one wants a war. So where does that leave us? Long before you became Admiral, I heard you was captain of the League of Lost Bastards. That true? If so, you'd know how we pirates settle our differences.
Beat the shit out of each other?
A duel. Very well. As Admiral of Limsa Laminsa, I accept your challenge.
Merlib's gonna kick your ass.
This ain't over. Not till one of us is dead. Finish the job, or I will.
It's the captain!
Captain Eorzea.
Ye fool! 'Twas over afore it began.
Captain.
Seems the whelps have been yapping while their master was abed. Listen well, all of ye. Since the signing of the Galadian Accord, we all of us have been part of the same crew. The crew of the good ship Lemsa Laminsa. At the helm of that ship is the Admiral. And 'tis she who decides where we sail. Was I not clear on that point? Or did you forget whose deck you stand on? Nay? Then what in the seven hells are you playing at?
It's all we know, Captain. If we ain't pirates, what are we?
You're bloody idiots is what ye are. Idiots with your own lives ahead of ye. Ye can do anything ye want. Be anything ye want. We're pirates, aye. And we pirates love our loot. But that ain't our first love. Our first love is the sea. The sea! And what she brings us. Freedom! So hold fast to that. Let the brine-crusted husk that stands before you now be the last of them as knew naught save out of steel. And make of yourselves a new breed of pirate! Lad, I made ye me right hand 'cause I saw something in ye. And I still do. You have the makings of a captain. All you lack's the belief. Well now, it seems we're of one mind after all. Apologies for the misunderstanding, Admiral. We're with ye, wherever ye be headed.
You have my thanks, Eorzea.
Your choice of dueling pistol did not escape my notice. Good old Annihilator. Ender of many a proud pirate's voyage. Mistbeard's vanished into legend, and it won't be long before I take my rest in the depths. Yet be that as it may, the old ways can only truly die when we've dealt the Empire the telling blow. There'll be stormy seas ahead, no doubt. But I'm trusting ye to steer us through to the other side.
Like Mistbeard before him, Heelfjord chose to trust the future of our nation to the Admiral. That was the moment, I believe. The good ship of Bluesky finally embarked upon our new course. While I don't condone what Sicard has been doing, I know how difficult it could be to change course. It took me long enough to join the Scions, didn't it? When the discussion gave way to a duel, I feared what might unfold, yet only a fool would underestimate the Admiral, as Sicard soon discovered. There are times when one must stand one's ground, even if the cost of failure is beyond reckoning. The Admiral did just that, and I have nothing but respect for her. As she continues to steer her nation through this period of transition, I pray the Navigator will see her fit to fill her sails. Though I had anticipated a duel, I did not foresee that Hilfjord would intervene, but I'm full glad that he did. It would have been a shame to kill the boy. Instead, the whelp has learned a valuable lesson, and we have made peace amongst ourselves. All that remains is to do likewise with our neighbors. Now, I need hardly tell you, but any attempt to negotiate with the tribes is doomed to fail unless their minds can first be wrested from the grip of their gods. So, in their meeting we seek to arrange with the kobolds, I would have you free their leader of Titan's influence. Leave it to us. We'll open his ears to reason. You have my thanks. Ere we proceed, there is something you should know. Some 50 years passed when the Sahagins swarmed our hulls in need of even greater numbers. Limsa entered into a covenant with the kobolds. To men shall go the bounty of the sea, to kobolds shall go the bounty of the land. An ostensibly equal arrangement, conspicuously lacking in detail. Aye, inadvertently or not, the wording was ambiguous, and we took advantage of it, moving to claim the northeastern reaches of Lemnosha, which the kobold believes theirs. Bloodshed followed. The bloodshed answered, and then bloodshed to answer bloodshed, and so on and on it went, till every ilm of Vilbrand bore the stain of our conflict. This is not history, you understand. It's the present, fresh and raw, and with their kindred's blood yet on our hands, we will struggle to regain the kobold's trust, even should we cure their tempered. Admiral, you speak of obstacles we are like to encounter in the meeting, but as things stand, I see no reason why the kobolds would agree to a meeting in the first place. And so we must provide a reason. I'll restore their stolen crystals to them, and personally deliver the cargo, along with my apologies. Bait. They would welcome us into their midst, not to speak of peace, but to have you at their mercy. Aye, given the wealth of crystals we'll bring, I'd wager they'll attempt to summon Titan there and then. Meaning the High Priest would need to be present, to whom we could administer the cure. Precisely. He's the fish I would catch, but he will not be alone. Nay, they'll have guards on hand, and they will lay down their lives to protect him. Yet a single death on the kobold side would jeopardize our chance at peace, and there my venture flounders. Yet need it or not, if we would employ the what if we were to employ the Conqueror's Chain? Though we would still have to weaken the kobolds, it would allow us to subdue them without inflicting lasting harm. The artifact Mistbeard used to take goods and not life? That would serve. Well done, Marshal. So, friends, what think you of our strategy? The effects of tempering are cumulative, and we may safely assume the High Priest's exposure to primal influence is extensive. It'll therefore take a great deal of ether to reverse its effects, not to mention time. Time during which Alice would be defenseless. Even should we look to her protection, I'm not convinced we could keep an entire army of kobolds at bay. I'm happy to take that risk. It's not as if we have any other choice. Besides, it's what Teslim would do, and had I not followed in her example, we wouldn't even have a cure for tempering, much less a chance to bring peace to Vilbrand. So I'm gonna cure the priest or die trying. I believe in you. I believe in you too. You and everyone. I know you'll keep me safe. It's settled then. See to your preparations and let's make for Camp Overlook. We'll join you there anon. Beyond no misapprehension, the extent of High Priest tempering is like to far exceed that of Gabu. But then his was a relatively mild case, milder indeed than the majority of those who wish to save. The coming mission will be a truer test of our treatment. I have no doubt that Eorzea will succeed with the cure, but if we can but afford her the time. Alphino wasn't lying when he said I'd be defenseless, so I'm counting on you to give me the time I need. Our sole purpose will be to keep you out of harm's way. So leave it to us and focus on your task. Indeed, and should you want for ether, you need only say the word. Gabu, did you follow us here? There's something important I wish to say to the High Priest. Say. Please let me come with you, please. I'm sorry, but it's too dangerous. I need you to promise me that you'll stay here where it's safe, alright? My apologies for the wait. It took time, but we've secured our audience. All unfolded as expected. At the mention of returning the crystals in person, the kobolds suddenly remembered how keen they were to be reconciled. And in the glorious spirit of cooperation, we are to be received by Patriarch Zada of the Second Order, who awaits our pleasure in the navel. If you're ready, let's proceed to Gomero Mines at once. This way? Everything will be fine. Merlib is glowing with the glow of friendship. Patriarch Zada. If the name sounds familiar, it's because he was the one who presided over the death of Gabu's parents. I tried to reach out to him that day, only for my pleas to fall upon deaf ears, but this day will be different. We'll reach out together, all of us, and we'll take peace in our grasp. There's nothing more to say. I'm going to do this for Gabu, Tesleen, and anyone who's ever dreamed of a better future. Eorzea can be forgiven a certain amount of recklessness, but if she goes so far as to contemplate sacrificing herself, I'll remind her how she responded when I thought to do the same. Not that we'll let it come to that, of course. Ready when you are, my friend. The Conqueror's chain stands ready, but weaken your foes and we'll see them subdued. Aetheryte will bear us to our quarry. Should he make to summon Titan as I anticipate, we will halt the ceremony and restrain him. At this, all hells will break loose, and we'll have an army of kobolds to entertain until Eorzea's work is done. Just remember, none must die. We weaken them and let Einzar do the rest. 'Tis time. Stay the course, my friends. I spy calmer waters beyond this squall.
Greetings, Patriarch. I am Merlwib, Blufistvin. Admiral of Limsa Laminsa. I come before you to offer my sincerest apologies for the many wrongs committed by my people against you and yours.
You were foolish to come here. Stupid, unwise, foolish. The Great Father shall have your souls for your folly.
Aye, just as we thought.
Now, Alize! Quickly!
You don't need to tell me.
Let none pass. We must grant her as much time as we can.
Wait. Yeah, like, the fact that when you're talking, like... When you're talking about how, like, oh, we've got to cure them of their tempering, like, yeah, I don't think that they'd be into that.
You're in my sights.
Just what we need.
Oh, wait, oh, we need to be in here.
You're not alone.
You're in my sights.
Here you are, Alize.
Oh no. Is he dead? That one better not die. Is he dead? No, he's alive.
Yes, this will do. Here I go. Go, Angela.
Okay, he's not dead. I thought that pulling all of the
Did it
bombs to
work?
himself would have made him die.
What?
What is the meaning of this?
I'm sorry, but they died by your hand. You sacrificed them to summon Titan.
No. No, 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 no! Why? Why would I do such a thing?
Would that there were a cure for the victims of the Tempered.
Gabu! What are you doing here?
Patriarch, please listen to me. Hear, heed, listen. The Great Father we have been summoning is false. He only hurts us and those we love. For a long time, his voice filled my mind. It told me to do terrible things. Awful, unspeakable, terrible things. But I didn't give in to it, and you mustn't either. There's been too much pain already, so please, end the suffering.
What have I done?
We share this child's desire, Patriarch. An end to summoning, for it spells naught but misery for both our peoples. For many long years, man and kobold have feuded over territory, pillaging and perishing for the earth beneath our feet. It may be said that we fought to survive, but what we have sown in blood, we have reaped in suffering, and it cannot go on. I would see us set aside the past and work together for peace.
It was wrong of me to hurt my own in the name of the Great Father. Sinful, evil, wrong. But that doesn't mean there can be peace between us. Men cannot be trusted. The bounty of the land was to be ours, and yours the bounty of the sea. But you broke the pact. Violated, breached, broke. Unready as we were, what choice had we but to call upon the divine to rid ourselves of your tyranny?
None, and I do not blame you for it. In violation of the spirit, if not the letter, of the pact, we took your lands for our own. The fault lies wholly with us. On behalf of all Leminsons, I offer you my humblest apology. I pray you'll find it in your heart to accept it. Yet I know an apology alone will not serve to make things right. So, we will revise the pact to leave no room for doubt. And any who violate it shall face justice, swift and certain.
No, we won't be fooled. Not again.
Please, hear me to the end. Fleeting though it was, there was a time when man and kobold abided together in harmony, in cooperation. In those days, your people shared the secrets of smelting. Knowledge which allowed Limsa Leminsa to thrive. Much of what we have, we owe to the kobolds. And so, for the good of all who dwell on this isle, I wish to make you an offer. We will bear your people's wares to every corner of the world. and trade them in your stead. In return, we will bring you the bounty, not only of the sea, but lands both near and far. Whatever you desire, the Navigator as my witness, you shall have it. There will be no more man and beastman, just the crew of the great ship that is Vilbrand. And together, we will share in the wealth of the world, if you'll only accept our hand in friendship.
We want to believe you. We truly do. But we believed you before and you betrayed us. Fooled, deceived, betrayed us!
There are bad men, it's true. But there are also good ones. And the ones before you are the best of them. They were always kind to me. Caring, nice, kind, and I trust them with my life.
Before I became Admiral, I was a pirate. I stole. I fought. I stained the sea red with blood. Such is my past, and I dare not forget it, however much I might want to. That is death penalty. The pistol I used to pass judgment on my own sire when he fell thrall to Leviathan and betrayed his comrades. It's loaded. If you were to point it at my head and pull the trigger, I would most assuredly die. Though it isn't much, my life is the single most valuable thing I possess. If it will suffice to atone for past wrongs, take it. A single bullet to annul the old pact, and my blood to write it anew. What comes after, I entrust to this man, my second in command. I know that he will do his utmost for the happiness of all who call Vilbrand home.
How do you sell that to everybody back home, though? Hey, we're friends with the kobolds. Also, they killed the president.
I do not trust you. Not yet. But Gabu does. And I will trust him.
We want you to know that we respect your faith. There's nothing wrong with giving thanks to the land which sustains you. But summoning is different. Should you hear of anyone who would attempt it, we ask that you appeal to their better judgment, or failing that, seek our aid. We're always ready to help.
Many and more of my brethren are yet enthralled to the Great Father, just as I was. If you could free them too, I would be grateful. Appreciative, thankful, grateful.
Tis we who should be grateful, Patriarch. I thank you for affording us this chance.
Admiral seems hell's-bent on worrying me to death. But I suppose the ends justify the means. Well fought, friend. Well fought. The treatment may have restored the Patriarch to his senses, but it was all the Admiral and Gabu's words that that touched his heart. The moment belongs to all of us. We couldn't have done it without each other. I'm so glad we could sway the Patriarch. Convince, persuade, sway. Thank you for making it possible. Thank you. In two separate worlds, the seeds were sown, and through the determination of two indomitable women, they have quickened into this historic moment. I feel honored to have been present to see it. It's taken a long time, but the dream of a lasting peace with the kobolds may soon become a reality, and it's all thanks to Eorzea. It would seem that we found a way forward with the kobolds. Next, we'll help the Second Order to free their tempered brethren from thraldom. Theirs is far from the only order, of course, and it'll take no small amount of time and effort to reach the rest, but reach them we will, however long it takes. I would say that I was in your debt, but that has long been true, so instead I will say thank you for helping us to plot a new course not only for Limsa Laminza, but all of Eorzea.
Right. Let's return to the Rising Stones.
Pray return to the Rising Stones.
Admiral, something strange is afoot at the floating city.
Breathe, man. What is it?
I think it's best you see for yourself. Please, come with me.
Is it the stuff that I saw on Mavic that's totally fine, nothing to worry about?
What in the world is that?
Yeah, that thing. It's totally fine.
A tower.
You can see it too, then? I feared I was losing my wits. One moment I was patrolling as usual, and the next it was just there.
We just gotta go inside and enter code Lyoko. And it'll turn off.
Yes? This is she. I am. I'm looking at it. What? Understood. Send the Elder Seedseer my regards. The communications officer. It seems this isn't the only tower. They've sprung up all across Eorzea. Nothing more is known. Only that they appear to be of Garlean construction.
Do they?
Our allies on the Alamegan front are on highest alert.
That looks very eldritch to me.
Forgive my directness, but would you join them? They may well need the help.
Looks
Of
like
course
some
I will.
Cthulhu bullshit.
make
Doesn't
all
look like
haste.
Garleans.
My thanks. I will return to Limsa to weigh our response. Look for Commander Hext when you arrive in Alamigo, and may the Navigator speed you on your way.
Don't worry, Sergeant. I'll keep watch over the tower. Your place is in Alamigo. Yeah, that's probably fine. That's probably fine. Though it is invisible from here, the locals report a tower-like structure has appeared to the south. Gaboot? Don't worry, he's with our Maelstrom friends, meaning we're free to deal with the latest problem to fall uninvited into our laps. It appears to be business as usual inside the city, but at least we'll be able to tell us if there have been any developments without.
Thank you for coming so soon. I'll send for Commander Aldin at once, and we can decide what to do about these infernal towers.
Roger preserved!
It can't be.
The palace! After them!
You're here. Good.
Well, well, well! To be received by such an illustrious cast! Why, even the hero of the piece is here! I feel quite starstruck.
Is that a sigh?
His body, more like. You don't fool us.
Oh! You saw straight through it! Anyone would think you dealt with Asians before. Permit me to introduce myself. I am Fandaniel, and may I say what a pleasure it is to finally make your acquaintance.
The towers. What are they for? Can you please just explain the plot of Endwalker to me right here?
My, straight to business is it? Suit yourself. It is my intention to recreate the final days, to which end I have distributed a collection of rather ingenious devices, or towers, which will, in time, give rise to the grandest of spectacles.
The final days? But it was the Asians who labored to prevent them.
You're quite right, though I would expect no less from one responsible for eliminating my unsundered colleagues.
Honestly, the three of them were obsessed with restoring the one true world. As a sovereign individual, however, I never had much interest in such things. I mean, why bother when you're just another sundered minion? Admittedly, Elidibus was not convinced by that argument, but thanks to you, I'm finally free of his incessant nagging. Free to use my powers as I see fit, to fulfill my heart's desire. And my heart's desire is to lay this half-broken world to waste, leaving nary a fleck of dust behind!
What? Why would you want such a thing?
Because I want wretched creatures who ask such meaningless questions to die! You! And you! And you! I want you all to die! And I want to die too! Oh, yes! I want to die and take everyone with me in a paroxysm of pain and suffering!
Okay.
I'm different, you see. From the ancients who clung to dear life, and from you.
Can we do, like, the tempering cure on this guy and see if, like...
So don't bother trying to reason with me. You will find I have no reason, or creed, or any such tripe. I just want to destroy the world. But please do resist with all your might. It will add to my enjoyment. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes peeled, for the curtains have risen on the spectacle to end all spectacles.
Is Fandaniel the
We,
last?
the Telophoroi, shall be your performers and this very star our stage. Ah, but I nearly forgot. I have a message for you. My esteemed patron, Lord Xenos, eagerly awaits you at the heart of the chaos. While I wish only to destroy the world, he exists solely to relive a certain, transcendent moment with you. And it is for that reason he would reduce all to ash. Pray see to it his dreams do not go unfulfilled. For if you should disappoint him, my trusty companion here, whom I've dubbed Lunar Bahamut, will burn your cities and everyone in them.
Oh no, they've given Bahamut a new marketable form.
Everyone out! My men will tend to the blaze.
Scouts report the Asian and his dragon left Girabanya. It seems it was a purely social visit. What could these towers possibly play in the Telophoroi's plans, do you think? I, for one, am at a loss. For now, we should bear word of these developments to the others. I only hope Thancred and Eorzea are safe. You alright? The rest of us are fine, if a little singed. That dragon let us off lightly, honestly, though. Only a madman would choose the name Lunar Bahamut, which just about sums up Fandaniel, I suppose. Although our objectives were different, I could understand why Elidibus and his fellows acted as they did, but Fandaniel? It'll take me some time to make sense of it all, if indeed there is any sense to be found. Thank goodness everyone's safe. We've managed to put out the fire, though not quickly enough to save the garden. Railbon, can I leave it to you to send word to the Alliance? I'm going to take the unit and investigate the tower. We need to find out what it's for. We'll go with you. No, you won't. You'll rest. From what Merlweb tells me, you're due some time off duty. Should we learn anything about the tower, we'll be sure to share it with you. Until then, I want you to rest. Very well, but if you need our help, don't hesitate. And take care, both of you. You really did it. You found a cure for tempering, and it makes me want to do something heroic right now. Speaking of which, I better get ready to set up for the tower. Though I knew a rather old, by which I mean young, though this body has a good deal more stamina than the other one I wore in the first, I confess that I've been looking forward to a moment's respite. We've had a busy few days, have we not? Y'shtola returned just before us, and it seems she knows about the towers too. How good it feels to come home to the Rising Stones. It's here in my heart it feels most at peace, and my mind the clearest. It would seem you've had quite the eventful time in my absence, but I'm fully rested now and ready for more. Make yourself comfortable and let me know if I can get you anything. You're back. Good. We've received the reports from the Alliance. Since we're all here, perhaps we could, those who bore witness to the events in Alamigo could treat the rest of us to a first-hand account? No sooner do we overcome one problem than another appears. It would all seem tediously predictable, but for the endless variety of our foes. This Fandaniel sounds even more unhinged than his patron. Unhinged, perhaps, but no fool. For all his pantomime theatrics, he gave away little about his plot. We know only that he intends to recreate the final days, and the towers will somehow facilitate this. He also called his dragon Lunar Bahamut. Let's not forget that little detail. And the creature certainly did resemble the Elder Primal. Yeah, because I was curious, because like we know that there can't be more Ascians at this point. So we took the rocks. So we took the magic Ascian making rocks. It may be, but the fact that it answered to Fandaniel would suggest that they are not one and the same entity. I think it more probable that it's some manner of simulacrum born of Ascian magics. Whatever it is, for now we can but work closely with the Alliance and remain vigilant. I believe that concludes our news. What of yours, Y'shtola? I've been to see the Sultana. Knowing how quick the immortal flames are to dispose of their tempered, I judged it best to provide them with the cure first. As soon as I had sufficiently recovered, I traveled to Ul'dah and delivered the porksies to Her Grace, along with detailed instructions on their use. Yet my visit chanced to coincide with the arrival of some troubling tidings. The Immortal Flames had been on the cusp of agreeing to a truce with the Amalja when negotiations abruptly collapsed. The Amalja claimed that a number of their kind had been abducted and that men are responsible. Naught is known of the perpetrators as of yet, but as the Immortal Flames went about investigating the abductions, they came upon one of Fandaniel's towers. On the subject of the towers, you may be interested to learn that they are not an exclusively Eorzean phenomenon. According to the Alliance, they have been sighted as far afield as Yanxia. And it would seem reasonable to assume that they're everywhere. We simply have not found them. Well, as you said yourself, we can do little now save for remain vigilant, and since we're dealing with a dragon, ostensibly at least, I believe it would behoove us to enlist the aid of an authority on such foes. Istinian! Istinian? Wait just a moment. If he can be persuaded to lend us his lance, I would be the first to welcome it, but the truth is, we'll struggle to even find him. You know, you let me and Crow worry about that. We'll sniff him out no matter where he's hiding. If indeed he is hiding, we have ways of locating him regardless, so if there are no objections, we shall depart at once. Well, rather than sitting around, I think I might go to each of the city-states and educate them in the use of the Porxies. They would doubtless appreciate it, but might you consider taking a moment to rest before leaving? You'd be fresher for the tasks ahead. Well, my old friend, our moment of triumph did not last long. Oh dear, are you not enjoying our adventure? Dear? Honey? You said you wanted to go on an adventure with me. Come now, I didn't say that. Well, it might not be the most carefree experience. There's nothing in this world I would rather do than write a new future with you. God damn, we are so gay. A long future, mind. Whatever the Terlophoroi might hope, we'll stop them, won't we? Together. Meanwhile, somewhere in the locks.
The scouts should have been back by now. I'm gonna go and find them. Oh, thank goodness for that.
That doesn't look like the walk of a man.
Glory be.
Glory be to Garlemald!
Well, meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace.
The piles have been driven as planned, and the first of the beasts has roared to life. Moreover, I am pleased to report that preparations are well underway for the rest. Ere long, chaos shall reign over all the land, as befits the final days.
Call it what you will, so long as my friend returns to me, fangs bared and claws sharpened. I care not.
Of course, my lord. By strange coincidence, your dear friend chanced to be present when I made my declaration. I took the liberty of informing him that you await his coming, though I confess I may have singed him a little in the process.
And why do you tell me this? Are you in such a hurry to die?
Ah, my apologies. I must guard my tongue lest it be the end of me. Though, there is something to be said for such a glorious death. Better to fall to one who has it all than falter before an inferior. Huh. I shall keep it in mind as a contingency. For now, however, I shall proceed with the plan. My lord.
I must find myself a new weapon. One worthy of our long-awaited reunion.
That was the cursed blade he got off Yotsuyu, right? In the face of this new draconic threat, we would indeed benefit from Estinian's presence, yet I cannot help but wonder how Kryl and Tataru intend to locate him. They certainly seem confident, however. Good news, Thancred and Eorzea have finished their tour of Garlemald and are on their way back here even as we speak. As we still haven't heard anything on the towers from the Alliance, I'm hoping they might be able to shed some light on things. They're due to arrive any moment now, so let's see what they have to say, eh? Oh, welcoming party. You didn't need to have gone through the trouble. From what I hear, you've been more than busy enough as it is. Honestly, you might have waited for me to return before discovering a cure for tempering. As it is, I can't even pretend to have been involved. Well, if it's any consolation, I myself was a little more than a spectator. The lion's share of the credit must go to Alice Grahan missing, but I believe I speak for the rest of us when I say that we're proud to have rendered what little assistance we could. As you also will have heard, though, that it all hasn't been a tale of triumph. Since we were taking a step towards finally addressing the primal threat, a pile of fresh problems has landed in our lap. Anyway, it's good to have you back, though I can't help but notice we're one Eorzea short of a scouting party. You haven't lost him, have you? No, I couldn't lose him if I tried, and I did, really. Repeatedly. But no, he decided to linger in Alamigo to apprise Ralban and the others of how the land lies in Garlemald. Then mayhap you should do the same for us. Indeed. It was steadily said, worse, in fact. Devastation as far as the eye could see. Nerva and the Third, however, were notable by their absence. Might they have met their end at the hand of Xenos and Fandaniel? Perhaps, or perhaps they simply lost the will to fight. You see, the capital's been plunged into a deathly silence, with one exception, the Imperial Palace. It was a busy place before the war, but it's grown busier still with throngs of soldiers and civilians working there day and night to rebuild, or rather, transform it. Transform it into what? That is a difficult question to answer. The construction is vast and unsettling to behold. Something from a nightmare. According to Eorzea, certain aspects of its design were clearly devised with the manipulation of ether in mind. Magitech, in other words. Yet as unnerving as said edifice was, it was nothing next to the sight of its builders. They swarmed the place like so many insects working with nary a word to exchange between them. No one overseeing construction, no one barking orders. It was as if they were possessed or tempered. We want to investigate more closely, but given our suspicions, it seemed wiser not to take the risk. If Daniel could bind Bahamut to his will, might he have done the same to the people of Garlemald? Whatever the truth may be, this information is certain to prove valuable. You have our thanks. We'll be sure to save some for, be sure to save some for Eorzea, which reminds me, I have a message from Alamigo. Raubon's hosting a meeting to discuss the latest findings on the towers, and he requested our presence. And why not leave it to us? You must be weary from your mission. No, I'm fine. Those towers have been on my mind since I first spied one on the way back, and I'm keen to get to the bottom of this. In that case, I shall stay behind and look into another matter, as I promised Kryl. We need not all attend. Very well, I suggest the rest of us make our way to Alamigo forthwith. The sooner we leave, the more time we'll have to speak with Eorzea before the meeting. Well, we may safely assume the Telafroi are behind the works being carried out at the Imperial Palace. We can only guess at their purpose. Royal Menagerie is still closed to civilians. Fandaniel and his pets certainly left their mark. I wonder if there's been any developments in regarding Amalja abductions. It can be no mere coincidence the incidents began occurring just as the towers first appeared. Although I was only in Revenant's Toll a short while, I did manage to squeeze in a brief drink with Flamine, spring water only, being a flying visit. My friends, much and more have I heard of your travails in our absence. Heartened am I to see you all hale and whole. As are we to see you safely return from your mission, Eorzea. I trust Thancred made you feel welcome? Well, well, if it isn't Alpha known as Merry Band. Involved, what are you doing here? When we spoke via Link Pearl, you told me you were away on a mission. Who's to say this isn't part of it? But enough about that. It's good to see you looking so similar. I thought you'd have grown a bit taller after a whole year in another world, but apparently not. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. While my soul may be a year older, my body is hardly aged, as you are well aware. And I may remind you that we Elezen are known to be late bloomers, especially in terms of our height. Mark my words, the day will come when even a great Auroch such as yourself will crane your neck to meet my eye. It was not until my 20th summer that I myself outgrew my boyish proportions, though Moonbrita towered over me nonetheless. Arnval brings out the best in Alphino, doesn't he? They both seem to be at ease in each other's company. It's almost endearing. So what exactly brings you here? For Dola, mostly. We need to go over a few things before we set out. Set out? Does this have something to do with the towers? We'll give you that impression. Actually, tell me later. You got a meeting to go to. I'll tell you afterwards is all. If Fordola's going with him, then that must mean... My apologies. As Arnvold rightly pointed out, we have a meeting to attend. Let's be about it.
Ere we begin, I would like to offer my gratitude to Masters Thancred and Eorzea. 'Tis no small feat to infiltrate the Imperial capital, and live to tell the tale. much less in times of civil war. Thanks to them, we may plot our course in full knowledge of how the winds blow in Garlemald.
Full glad are we to have been of service. But verily, such dangers as we did encounter pale into insignificance next to those faced by our comrades. An Ascian, armed with the might of Bahamut, bent on bringing about the final days.
You could say it's his Final Fantasy.
Theatrics. He sought only to make a show of the power at the Telophoroi's disposal. But since then we have seen no sign of this Fandaniel or his worm. And while we've done what we can to bolster our defenses, there's no telling where he might strike next.
Whenever and wherever it may be, we must use the intervening time to learn more of our enemy. 'Twas with this in mind that we dispatched scouts to investigate the towers.
Our advance party took longer than expected to return. And when they did, they tried to kill us. Luckily, I'd seen that sort of thing before, and we were able to restrain them before they did any harm. Then it was just a matter of letting the Porksies do their work.
Are you saying they were tempered?
Once they'd come back to their senses, they told us everything they could. It seems that just as they were getting close to the tower, they heard an ear-splitting roar. And that was the last thing they remembered. But what worries me most is what they were saying right before they attacked. Glory be to Garlemald.
The Tempered have heretofore ever been thralls to primal entities. Yet these hapless souls were compelled to accept a nation as the object of their devotion. This calleth into question all that we know of the condition.
Would that the unsettling news ended there. Alas, there is more. Following the earlier reports of missing Amalja, we have learnt that other beast tribes have suffered similar losses. And we now have reason to believe that the abductions are connected to the appearance of the towers. Our scouts sighted black-garbed figures leading shackled Ixal in the direction of the tower in Dravania. The Temple Knights were able to intercept them before they could reach their destination, liberating the Ixal and apprehending their captors, each of whom was found to be equipped with Garlean arms and armor.
So the Empire is the common thread.
With the support of Xenos, it seems likely that Fandaniel has rallied a faction of the splintered Garlean army to the banner of the Telophoroi.
Lord Hien reached the same conclusion when I shared our findings with Doma. The plan had been to march on Garlemald from the east and west in order to force a peace treaty. But the situation has changed. Dealing with the threat of the towers must come first. Given the nature of the enemy and the proven risk of tempering, I could think of few suitable candidates to aid in this task. But I am confident in my choice.
What?
I like Fordola's armor.
Resistant to primal influence as they are, they can investigate the towers without fear of being turned.
We are glad to put our gifts to use, Commander.
Gifted or not, going behind enemy lines remains a perilous undertaking. But we must know more if we're to strike back at our foe. I'm counting on you.
If it would give us the upper hand, I'd do it 100 times over. We won't let you down.
That concludes the briefing. You two, make ready and join your escort.
Are you certain about this, Arenvold?
I am. Come on, let's talk outside.
If it's small talk you're after, look elsewhere. Except the numbers can provide a hindrance when infiltrating the enemy territory, but to send only 2? Now it's out in the open. I don't have to keep it under my proverbial hat anymore.
So you know, I've already gone through all the formalities at the Rising Stones. Made sure to inform Jamoldva and Vamar at Ralga's Reach as well.
Arenvold, I admire your enthusiasm, but this is far more dangerous than anything you have done before.
I know the risks. And I also know what's in store if we don't stop Fandaniel from carrying out his plan. With this power of mine, I can make a difference. If I stood idly by, I would regret it for the rest of my life.
And you, Fudola? Is this what you want?
What are you asking me for? It's not like I have any say in the matter.
Don't pretend. We both know Commander Aldin gave you a chance to refuse. And you didn't.
So the Empire's finished, is it? But that's what they're all saying. That the great and glorious Garlemald slit its own throat. And now, from out of its twitching carcass crawls the Telophoroi with bloody Xenos at its head! I fought for Garlemald. Killed for Garlemald. What was I part of? I need to know. Whatever it is, I need to know.
Very well. If your hearts are set on this, I shall not stand in your way.
If you've finished with your touching display of camaraderie, I have a question. Which tower are you planning to investigate, exactly?
Well, the one in Girabani is said to be tightly guarded. It's patrol after patrol out there, apparently. We'd be spotted before we got anywhere near it. Which is why we've set our sights on the one in Pagalthan instead. There shouldn't be anything like as many Imperials to worry about down there.
Even so, I doubt the local Amalja will look kindly on it if they catch you sneaking around in their territory.
Fordola and I had a chance to learn the lie of the land in our previous forays there. We might still find trouble, but at least we won't lose our way. Well, we'd best not keep them waiting any longer.
Mayhap when all of this is over, we could take another trip to Loxeld. I would have you know I've become a rather capable swimmer since our last visit.
Ha! I'll believe that when I see it. Though, to be fair, getting into deep water does seem to be a scion's lot in life. Take care, eh? It means a lot, you know. You coming with me.
I'll still owe you for saving my skin, don't I? Can't return the favour if I'm not there.
I dare say you'll get your chance before long. That Fandaniel sounds like a tricky customer. Too much for the likes of me, anyway. But we both know I'd just be another soldier if it weren't for my gift. And I need to be a damn sight more than that given what's coming. I realise I can't hold a candle to a hero like the Warrior of Light, or Alphino for that matter. He might look like he's 12, but he's seen more action than most people see in a lifetime. No, the fact is I'm nothing like them, and maybe I never will be. But I'll be damned if I don't try. They're counting on me. On us. So let's give it our all.
He does not want for conviction, that much is certain. So let us have faith in him. Him and Fordola both. While they see to the towers, I would attend to another task. Chasing down this lunar Bahamut.
Ah, bloody thing. Can you hear me? It's Tataru. I'm happy to say we've managed to find Estinian.
Is he happy to say it?
And I'm sorry to say he went running off again the moment we told him about Bahamut. But he did mutter something about heading to Ishgard, so if you're quick, you might still be able to catch him.
Even if we set out this instant, he may already have left by the time we arrive. Have her send the Bonanza to Ishgard. It may prove useful should we need to give chase.
Gladly. I'll see to it as soon as Kryl and I get back to the Rising Stones. Good luck.
While you go off on your dragoon hunt, Urianger and I will return to headquarters. We have much to tell the others.
I wish you every success in your search for our elusive friend. May we all meet again ere long.
I get the impression Arnvald's a lot more apprehensive than he lets on. He will have been grateful to Alphino's there. He will have been grateful to Alphino's there to see him off. Estinian Wormblood, the Azure Dragoon. His is another name that featured prominently in the history books, and it will be fascinating to meet the man in the flesh. So Estinian was bound for Ishgard. Whatever it is that brings him home, we must hope that it'll keep him there long enough for us to find him. Come, there's no time to lose. Oops, that's the wrong button. I'm gonna wrap things up because I gotta start work here in 10 minutes. Starting work early because, whatchamacallit is tonight. Magic. Murders at Karlov Manor.
What the?
Kieran's playing Persona 3 Reload, so let's do that. We're gonna raid there. Raid message you found the missing persons if you're on YouTube. It's twitch.tv/chocolatekieran. Thank you for hanging with me, and I will catch you guys maybe tomorrow? We'll see. Until next time, adios.